this a joke? The Beep Institute. What?
Luton. Oh, that explains it. Statement of Candice Deaz regarding her experience with her reflection appearing on...
Are you telling me this is a legit statement? Appearing unusual...
Her reflection appearing unusual. Original statement given June 3rd, 2021. Text transcript by Alice, head archivist of the Beep Institute. Passed on to Jacques Scribson, having requested specifically that he record the audio accompaniment. Statement begins. I've never really been a particularly vain person. Never been too obsessed with mirrors. Not to say I couldn't stand the sight of them or anything, but I just never really paid much attention to them unless I happened to spot a specific part of my face that I just happened to decide to hate that day. So you'll understand my confusion when last week I was drawn inexplicably to the mirror in my bathroom. I caught it in the corner of my eye. Something felt like it was pulling me to that polished glass above my sink. I couldn't help but take a closer look. There was something off about it, and it took me a while to notice, but my reflection was slow, lagging behind what I was actually doing. Only by maybe a fifth of a second, but once I noticed it, it was painfully obvious. I put it down to the fact that I hadn't slept well the previous night and wasn't fully awake yet and left, but I noticed the same thing in every reflective surface. Every mirror, every window, puddle, whatever. And it seemed to be slowing down. By the time I got home, my reflection was an entire second disjointed from my movements until it just stopped, completely, staring blankly at me. Now I know, of course, it's normal to lock eyes with your reflection, but this was different. It was staring at me. It was through me, as if trying to examine my soul, trying to reach out and pull it from my chest, all without moving a muscle, if it had any. Agonizingly slow, it opened its mouth, even while my own remained resolutely clamped shut. I have a habit of grinding my teeth when I'm scared. And a single word was spoken in a low, coarse voice. Whether it was in another language, or was a name, or... I couldn't say. I tried to ask it what it meant, but I couldn't convince my body to obey my brain. Without conscious thought, I ran out of the room in terror. My reflection has always appeared normal whenever I catch a glimpse of it since, although I never really examine it long enough to check. I tend to avoid reflective surfaces now. Statement ends. Normally, I wouldn't give a statement like this much thought beyond mild hallucinations caused by sleep deprivation, but something felt off about this statement in particular. I don't know if it's because the head archivist's surname doesn't appear to like being recorded, even on magnetic tape, or what. I knew we had to act on this statement. As infuriating as it was that Miss Deaz didn't mention in her initial statement what the word was that her reflection supposedly said, locating her for a follow-up interview at least gave Martin something to do, and after what he called lots of tissues and tea, he managed to pry the word from her. I have tried researching into it, but asking the Institute staff just causes them to laugh at me. Gall of it. I've scrubbed through the Institute libraries to see if I could find any mention of the etymology of it, but this particular branch of epistemology has, for once in my life, turned up blank. I can find no mention of the word ligma in any academic, scientific, or other such respected published works. I'll have to keep looking. End recording. Supplemental. Ligma appears to be the name of an entity. It appears invariably on the internet, but never where someone like me may find it, and always hidden in a phrase where one may be tricked into uttering it. Could it be a trigger phrase for a ritual? Such trickery and deceit is common amongst all 14 entities the previous archivist, a Mr. Ickathon, warned us to be vigilant for, although it is a regular tactic of both the spiral and the web, suggesting they're attempting a manifestation. They're ahead of schedule, but I suppose when you're talking about the manifestations of abstract horror, schedules are merely suggestions. I'll pass this statement up the higher food chain, just in case. Can never be too careful with this kind of thing. End supplemental.